Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Trust Edge Experience. I'm Anthony Smedley, principal here at Angleton High School, and today I'm going to be team teaching with the global trust expert, David Horsager. We will have a phenomenal time, and I want to say thank you for being here, and a special thank you to our folks that are joining us online. So today, when we talk about trust, a few things to remember: that everything we talk about will be grounded and rooted in research. It will also be something that is relevant to all of us, so it will relate to our personal and our professional lives. And we will teach it in a variety of ways so we can reinforce the content and address all of our different learning styles that we have in the room. So when you think about the word trust, what words come to mind?
Just knowing that somebody has your back.
Okay, knowing that somebody has your back. Anyone else? Okay, a trusted advisor, absolutely. So, one way to think about trust is to think about someone that has been very influential in your life. When it comes to my own personal life, I can't help but remember my powerlifting coach when I was in high school. His name was Coach Yarberry, and he was really a phenomenal guy. And so in 9th and 10th grade, I played basketball and I played football, but I was a mediocre athlete, definitely nothing to brag about. And during that time, I was pretty reserved, I was kind of shy, and I really needed something at that time to help boost my confidence and give me a boost of self-esteem. And so I can remember it like it was yesterday. Coach Yarberry came up to me in the cafeteria and he said, "Hey Smedley, I want you to come out and try out for the powerlifting team." And he told me, you've got a natural build for powerlifting. You're low to the ground and you already have like natural strong legs. And so he said, Smedley, if you trust me and you follow my plan, I could make you a powerlifting superstar around town. And at that time, that was just really music to my ears. And so he had a really good track record for developing students at Brazosport High School at that time. And he had a way to connect with all of his athletes. And so nevertheless, I tried out for the powerlifting team, and I followed his plan because I trusted him. He told me what type of technique to use as I did the different powerlifting moves. He crafted out a plan with the number of sets and reps to do. He also talked to me about how much rest and what the type of food that I needed to eat. And so I tell you, I followed those things to a T, and within 1 year, believe it or not, I made it to state in powerlifting. I was in a 181-pound weight class. And I remember at the state meet, I squatted over 600 pounds, bench pressed 300 pounds, and I deadlifted over 575 pounds. And that never would have happened if it wasn't for Coach Yarberry being a trusted leader and someone that I could be confident in. And so even to today, I'm very thankful and grateful for the trust that we built up at that time. And I don't look like I used to back in those days, but I do still exercise, and it's mainly because of, the relationship that I had with a trusted leader, Coach Yarberry. And so let's take a look at this picture right here when it comes to trust. Well, how much trust does the last guy have to have with the biker?
A lot.
And what about this picture right here? How much do these two have to trust each other? What about this picture? How much trust is involved in this? Even animals have a perspective on trust. So how do we define trust? Trust is a confident belief in a person, a product, or an organization. A confident belief that they will do what's right, they'll do what's promised, and that they will be consistent and do the same thing over and over. And the trust edge is the competitive advantage that you gain when someone confidently believes in you. So let's talk a moment about the case for trust. Let's talk about how trust is a part of our personal and professional lives.
Thing of value. From the greatest organizations to every good relationship you have is built on one thing: trust. A lack of trust really is the biggest expense we have. Think about it. If I don't trust you, I put a lock on something. What is the cost of that lack of trust? Well, money for the lock, but the bigger cost is time. Now I have to open it every time I want to get into anything. Think about a team that doesn't trust each other. They don't share ideas. So innovation goes down. Creativity goes down. I can still remember the first time I saw the economic impact of trust. I grew up in one of the poorest counties in Minnesota, 8 miles from the nearest town. Halfway home sat Mr. Olson's veggie stand at the end of his long dirt driveway. But nobody worked the stand. Next to the beautiful vegetables, produce, berries, a box with cash bills sticking out of it. What are you supposed to do at Mr. Olson's stand? Make your own change and pay what you owe. We called this system the honor system or trust system. Because it was built on trust, he saves money because he doesn't have to employ anybody to work the stand. People save time because, unlike the city stands, they don't have to wait in line, and they don't have to wait for someone who has to put on latex gloves to touch the vegetables or produce and take the gloves off to make change. Money and time, all because of trust. This doesn't mean I believe we should trust everyone. This just shows where you have it. You create a great advantage where you create it in your organization, on your team, with your clients or your customers. You have a great advantage, something we call the trust edge. When I started my grad work on trust, I thought I knew a lot about trust, and then I learned it's more complex than I first thought. We can often think it takes a long time to build trust, and that's often true. But in crisis, many strangers trust each other in a moment if they're running the same direction. Turns out a lot of trust is built in a moment. We can think if I extend more trust to my team, I'll get more out of them. That's often true until I extend too much. We can think confidence is trusted. That's often true, but arrogance isn't, and sometimes that overlaps for leaders. We can think transparency is trusted, but so is confidentiality. That's why a trusted leader has to be as transparent as they can be while being confidential as they ought to be. We can't do anything about everybody else, but when we become most trusted, we gain a great advantage, and we become the most effective and efficient we can be.
So this infographic that you see right here, it comes from the Trust Edge Institute, and this comes out of the original research that they did. And as you'll see that this is a model that shows as trust increases, there are certain things that go up and there are certain things that go down. So as trust increases, you'll see this is what we want more and more in our organizations. We want more output from our employees. The morale goes up. You have better retention, productivity, innovation, and loyalty all go up. And then also as trust increases, you also have there are things that go down. And these are the things that you would like to see go down in an organization. Lower costs, problems diminishing, lower suspicion, attrition, time to market, and a decrease in the amount of stress that you have. So a lack of trust is your biggest expense. And it is like that because remember, as trust goes down, your speed goes down and your cost goes up. So the Trust Outlook is also from the Institute, and it's an annual study that is conducted each year. So let's take a look at some of the data. So more than 9 out of 10 people globally say that trust affects their performance at work. Half of all people would work longer hours, be a better team player, and be more loyal if they trusted their senior leadership more. Can I have a volunteer to read this slide?
Sure. 48% of all Americans have invested $1,000 or more based purely on trust.
Thank you. More than 13 million Americans invested over $100,000 based purely on trust. 92% of people would trust their senior leader more if they were more transparent about their mistakes. 9 out of 10 Americans would not refer the product or services of an organization that they don't trust. So think about the type of things that destroy trust. Take a moment to think about that and write that down in your workbook. So the number one question that everyone is asking you as a leader is not do I like you, but the number one question is, can I trust you? So what is a lack of trust costing you? What is a lack of trust costing your organization? Or what is a lack of trust costing you at home? So if trust is so important, then how do you build trust? So the trust dads, they focus on 8 pillars that we'll dive deeply into over the course of the next 2 days. Those 8 pillars are clarity, compassion, character, competency, commitment, connection, contribution, and consistency.